There's a quiet moment when you realize you're no longer waiting for life to start. Not because everything is perfect, not because all the questions are answered, but because you're finally present in what is. You're not rushing ahead anymore. You're not dragging the past with you either. You're here. You notice it in small ways, in how you wake up without immediately checking your phone, in how silence doesn't feel uncomfortable anymore, in how you don't need constant distraction to feel okay. Something inside you has slowed down, and in that slowing, you've gained clarity. You're beginning to understand that peace isn't something you earn after struggle. It's something you allow once you stop resisting yourself. Before, you were always adjusting, reading the room, managing expectations, anticipating reactions. Now, you notice when you start doing that, and you gently stop. You don't disappear to keep harmony. You don't overgive to feel secure. You don't overthink every word after you say it. You're learning to stay. Stay with your thoughts. Stay with your feelings. Stay with your instincts without questioning them into silence. That doesn't make you rigid, it makes you honest. You've also become more aware of how your energy shifts throughout the day. Some moments ask for action, others ask for stillness. And instead of fighting that, you're beginning to cooperate with it. You don't push through exhaustion just to prove something. You don't ignore discomfort just to keep momentum. You listen. And listening has changed the way you relate to your goals. They no longer feel like pressure. They feel like direction. You're not chasing outcomes, you're aligning with processes. That's why even uncertainty feels different now. It doesn't feel threatening, it feels unfinished, in a good way, like a sentence that hasn't reached its ending yet. You're also noticing how certain people respond to this change. Some feel closer, some feel confused, some drift without explanation. And instead of trying to manage those reactions, you let them exist. You're learning that not everything needs interpretation. Some things just reveal themselves over time. You're not closing doors aggressively. You're simply not holding them open out of fear anymore. And that creates space. Space for clearer conversations, space for better decisions, space for something new to take shape, even if you can't name it yet. You don't feel finished, but you don't feel lost either. You feel in transition, aware, grounded, and paying attention. And that attention is quietly changing how life meets you.
As you move through this in-between space, you start to notice how differently you relate to uncertainty. Before, not knowing felt uncomfortable. It felt like something needed fixing, something you had to resolve quickly. Now, you let it exist. You're not in a hurry to define everything. You're allowing experiences to show you what they are, instead of forcing meaning onto them. There's a subtle shift in how you make decisions. You don't move from pressure anymore. You move from clarity. If something feels rushed, you pause. If something feels heavy, you question it. If something feels calm, you stay with it a little longer. This doesn't make your life smaller. It makes it more intentional. You're learning that alignment doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels quiet, stable, almost ordinary. And yet, there's strength in that. You also begin to notice how much space you've created internally. Space that used to be filled with overthinking, self-doubt, and constant comparison. That space isn't empty, it's available. Available for better ideas, for deeper focus, for a kind of presence you didn't have before. You're not multitasking your emotions anymore. You're actually experiencing them. When something disappoints you, you feel it. without dramatizing it, without minimizing it. When something excites you, you allow that too, without questioning whether you should. This honesty with yourself is new, and it's reshaping how you trust your own judgment. You don't need external validation to confirm what you already sense. You don't need immediate results to believe you're moving in the right direction. You're becoming comfortable with progress that isn't visible yet. That patience didn't come from waiting. It came from understanding. Understanding that growth doesn't rush to prove itself. It unfolds at its own pace. You're also realizing that not everything deserves a reaction. Some things don't require energy. Some moments don't need response. And choosing not to engage is no longer avoidance, it's discernment. You're protecting your attention now, and that protection is allowing something new to form. You don't see the full shape of it yet, but you can feel it taking space. And for now, you're letting it.
At this point, you're beginning to recognize a deeper shift. You're not just responding differently to life, you're relating to it differently. You no longer feel the need to stay ahead of everything. You're not scanning for what might go wrong. You're not bracing yourself before good moments arrive. You're letting things meet you as they are. That doesn't mean you're passive. It means you're present. You've learned that anticipation often creates more tension than reality, so you're choosing to experience moments as they come, instead of rehearsing them in advance. There's a steadiness forming in how you hold yourself. Your reactions are softer. Your expectations are clearer. You don't abandon your needs to keep situations smooth, and you don't create conflict just to feel in control. You're finding balance.
Now something else begins to happen. You start noticing how little energy you waste explaining yourself. Not because you've become distant, but because you've become clear. You no longer feel responsible for how everyone interprets you. You know your intentions, you know your integrity, and that's enough. Misunderstandings don't trigger the same urgency. Silence doesn't feel threatening. Distance doesn't automatically mean loss. You've learned that clarity doesn't always need conversation. Sometimes it shows up in consistency, in how you show up the same way, even when no one is watching. There's also a shift in how you approach decisions. You're not forcing answers, you're letting them reveal themselves through experience. If something requires you to shrink, rush, or abandon your center, you notice it immediately. Your body responds before your mind does. There's tension where there used to be excitement. There's heaviness where there used to be curiosity. And you listen. That listening is changing how you choose. You're no longer attracted to chaos disguised as passion. You're no longer mistaking urgency for importance. You're drawn to what feels sustainable, what allows you to breathe, what doesn't demand constant proof of your worth. This doesn't make life smaller, it makes it more intentional. You're also recognizing that growth doesn't always feel like expansion. Sometimes it feels like refinement, letting go of excess, releasing roles you outgrew, rewriting expectations that were never yours to carry. You're not trying to become someone new, you're returning to someone true. And that return is quiet. It doesn't need witnesses, it doesn't need validation, it just needs honesty. You may notice fewer reactions from others, not because you matter less, but because you're no longer operating from patterns that invited noise. Your energy has changed, and energy sets the tone before words ever do. There's a calm confidence settling in, not loud, not performative, just steady. You don't rush toward the next phase, you let it meet you. You trust that what aligns won't require chasing,
and what requires chasing was never meant to stay. This phase isn't about proving anything. It's about preserving what matters. And you're beginning to understand that the way you move now is shaping the quality of what arrives next.
And this is where it settles, not with answers to everything, but with trust in yourself. You don't need the future to explain itself anymore. You don't need guarantees to move forward. You've learned how to listen to your body, your intuition, your timing. That's the real shift. You're no longer trying to arrive somewhere. You're living from where you are. You understand now that peace isn't something you earn after everything works out. It's something you choose before it does. You don't rush clarity. You allow it. You don't chase alignment. You recognize it. And because of that, what's meant for you won't require you to abandon yourself. It will meet you with the same steadiness you've learned to carry. This season didn't break you. It refined you. You didn't lose time. You gained discernment. And from here, you don't need to become anyone else to receive what's coming next. You're ready. Not because everything is perfect, but because you finally trust who you are. And that trust is enough to move forward.